don't know if you ever heard my podcast. Like I hit record once we start. Just like, are we going? Like, yeah, we're going. We're going for
Yeah,
like the
that's
last 10 minutes.
it's probably best to just do that anyway. Just hit record when you start. But who knows? Maybe somebody just enters the room. They need to fart or pick their nose real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
because your first fart, you don't know if the camera's gonna hear it or not. But anyway, well, thanks for coming, Joseph. Him with Joseph Davis. He's also run the Shima Gaijin podcast. What does Shima Gaijin mean?
So Shima is in Japanese means island, and then of course Gaijin is foreigner, right? So the reason why I called it that was because when I came to Okinawa, or even just growing up, because my mother's Japanese. I was born in Japan, but I grew up in the States. Whenever I visited Japan to see family or friends, I was always considered a gaijin, and so I've always tried to fit in, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
never really worked out. And so I just kind of accepted that I'm a gaijin. I'm not an islander here
Mm.
in Okinawa. So the Okinawan word for islander in Okinawa is geez, now I'm having a brain fart. Uchinanchu. Uchinanchu means islander in
Hmm.
Okinawa. So I'm not Uchinanchu. I'm a Shima Gaijin. I'm a Gaijin living on an island. So
Oh, so your mother was like mainland Japanese.
yeah, she's from originally from Sasebo area,
Oh, okay.
and she had met my father in Tokyo.
Now, are the people in? I've only been a couple times, but are the people in Okinawa like very ethnically different than mainland?
Yeah, I mean, you may not be able to tell at first, but yeah, they are. I mean, short, a lot shorter than your average mainlander. Um,
Oh, shorter. I
darker
was just
darker
thinking
skin.
personality-wise. I wasn't trying to get mean.
Oh, personality wise,
I'm just kidding. I'm just.
I'm gonna get hate mail for this now. Like, oh, you
You
motherfucker,
know,
talking
I
shit
have a
about us.
cousin from Okinawa, and he's 6'8".
Personality wise, um, yeah, it's almost like a countryside.
Yeah.
If you talk to someone from the South, it's a lot different from talking to someone in California. It's almost like that. It actually reminds me of my relatives in Saga Prefecture, which is right above Nagasaki. Um, I refer to them as Japanese rednecks.
Okay.
I'm not saying that all Okinawans are like that, but it's a very country kind of area,
Mm.
just that island life. So it's very strong personality in some areas, especially
Mm.
on the outer islands of the smaller islands.
I don't know if most people know this, but what's up? How come there's all these dudes from not just dudes, people from Okinawa that they're all freaking awesome musicians? Is there like something in the water there or something?
I think it has a lot to do with the military influence that's been out here for so long since World War II. To be honest,
Oh, really?
um, yeah, because in Koza, which is Okinawa City. Koza is the old name, but there's a street called Gate 2 Street that's right outside the Air Force Base there of Kadena Air Base, and
Mm.
there's tons of bars there where people are playing music, a lot of rock influence that's out there, and even hip hop, all of that. So I think it just first started off during that wartime, and it's just soaked it all in and just meshed into this big culture of music. But yeah, most definitely, there's something out here. I don't know if it's the water, but that's my guess is what it is.
Right on.
Yeah, you're a big music player, right?
Yeah, I play. I play guitar. I like to record fun little songs. Um, I did my own intro theme, but it's not nearly as badass as yours. What did you have to do yours?
David Ralston did that for me of Okinawa Americana. I've known David for a little over 10 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, have you heard his music?
Just no. Well, I think I followed him after listened to your first episode, and I was like,
Okay.
this dude is off the chain, and I follow in his show on Sundays. I've been trying to follow that. That's really fun.
Yeah, their album, they just did a second album. It's pretty good. How him and Mary, they kind of put together both. They combined both American blues, Americana music, and Okinawa folk music. It's a pretty good like mixture of just putting the two different styles of music together. It's pretty awesome. Watching them live is really cool too. So I know like watching them on the Facebook page live is, I mean, it's awesome, but it does no justice. I mean, you gotta see them live. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I mean they're pretty good. They're like reading the comments and playing and singing, and
Yeah,
that's some
really
high
engaged,
level. Yeah, that's some high level stuff. And I was like, why haven't I heard about this?
and they got a pretty big
I
fan
do is
base.
talk to people.
Yeah, that's your only talent, right? Yeah, they got a big fan base. They play in mainland. They got fans in Malaysia, Thailand, people back in the States. They did a U.S. tour. They were actually supposed to do a U.S. tour this year, I think, again. They went to like Nashville and California. Um, they were supposed to go to Germany this year, but COVID kind of put an end to that. But they were supposed to
Oh,
be playing at some sort of Oktoberfest, I think, this year.
oh, oh,
Um,
wow. So they're just like full time musicians. That's their bag, huh?
Well, I mean, David works. We actually work for the same company on bass, and then, but Mary, she's got several side hustles. She teaches music at a yochien, which I think is like a preschool, right? And then I actually hooked her up with a gig to teach on bass at on the Air Force base. She does that, and then she also plays these other venues at night. But I
Oh.
mean, yeah, David works, but they get together and I mean, they're hustling 24/7 playing music.
Mm. Does she just teach the Sunshine, or does she like know all kinds of music?
No, just strictly Sanshin and that Okinawan folk music.
Oh, okay.
Asan music, yeah.
Okay. The Sunshine is like a three-string guitar with what is that, snake skin or something they make it out of?
Yeah, it's a snake skin. It's not the habu snake. I think it's a different kind of snake, but yeah, it most definitely is some sort of a Okinawan snake that's out here. I'm not sure the name of it.
Ah,
Yeah, Okinawan banjo is what I call it.
right on. Well, I hear you teach judo for the base kids. Like I was curious, like what's judo like in Okinawa?
So there's a lot of judo that's out here. I would say a majority of it. I mean, there's clubs in the central area of the island, but majority of it is in the southern area of the island. So like, the main city is Naha, and then just past that, where the airport is Itoman. There's some real strong judo clubs that are out there, and a lot of the instructors, of course, are people who are security guards, either working at a correctional facility, working for the security company that's out here, or policemen on the island. So it's pretty big. My club is on the military base, like you said. It's on Kadena Air Force Base out here. I have 45 students. Well, I did, and before COVID happened, but I had 45 students in the club that I took over. There was actually one head sensei who ended up leaving probably about 3 years ago, and before that they had about four other instructors, and they all left, and now it's just me. And I just recently recruited a Japanese buddy of mine who's out here to come and help me out. But we try to go and attend not all the tournaments. I kind of, I'm selective with the tournaments that I bring my kids to, just because they don't get that exposure and the everyday kind of practice like the Japanese do. So,
Mm,
um,
true.
but yeah, the judo out here in Okinawa is pretty strong.
Wow. I feel you because I'm coaching the base kids in Yokosuka, and
Okay.
we're just doing Zoom workouts, and we did some outdoor stuff and just trying to keep in shape. And then I saw some of the wrestling clubs. They're already back normal practices, no masks, um, suplexing 8 year olds, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna get in shape. It's like, don't expect to win. If you win, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
It's just like not the same level. I mean, I think I got some talented kids, but they just don't have the training, that they have.
Yeah, my kids, we only have an hour and 15-minute slot at this youth center that we practice at, and it's only twice a week. So we got to do as much as we can, cram in as much as we can. And, I'm not trying to to do too much because being on the military base, these kids are only here for 3 4 years, maybe at the most, sometimes six if they extend out here in Okinawa.
Hmm.
But and they're constantly rotating, so it's almost like I have to reset when these kids leave, and I get every other month, a couple more new kids that join because they just came to Okinawa as a family. So it's it takes a lot of time to kind of backtrack and then start over again and kind of get everyone caught up. Those are the kind of challenges I make, or that I face rather, I guess.
Is karate really big out there, or
Oh,
karate?
it's huge. Yeah. I mean, it was hard for me to find a karate dojo, or I mean, to find a judo dojo. Every corner, just around the island was always about karate, karate, karate.
Mm.
Um, and my first wife, here out here, she was Okinawan too. She had a hard time trying to find a judo club just because Okinawa. I mean, that's their martial arts. So at the time, she didn't know if there was a judo club at that time. So
And we're not just talking about like strip mall right by the nail salon karate places. We're
right.
like Kyokushin, the real deal, right? Where they're hitting each other in the stomach and whatnot.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Uh,
So, for your kids, did you take them out to the local tournaments off base?
yeah, but the last one we went to was in January, and there were a couple kids that did well, but it was pretty much because their parents are just really athletic people. It wasn't because of anything we taught them. Uh, but the only kids that won were just studs, you know. And but the Japanese kids were like really amazing how technical they were. Even though some of our kids were like stronger, they knew exactly how they were going to score that point, and they wouldn't give them
Right.
the point, and then they get frustrated because they're kids, and then they would always win. It was really impressive to see them work. Um,
Yeah. Did you take them often to the tournaments, or just were you kind of selective like me? I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll go to this tournament here. It seems like it's a little bit smaller than our average tournament, or
I mean, we keep it pretty local. We're lucky that there's actually a pretty we have a good relationship with this other gym that's in it's another part of Yokosuka, but it's a little bit separated, and they're really just all about getting experience. Because even some of the Japanese kids, they might be tough, but they've never wrestled a foreigner before, and they just get scared. First time they wrestle somebody that looks different, they're like, and then sometimes they're like, "Oh wait, I can win." Sometimes they don't, you know. They just think,
yeah.
you know, because
Oh,
actually
okay.
they work out a lot. I mean, they may not be like that technical, especially now. Like I've been having the Zoom lessons, and they're still working out, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get through the workouts myself. I'm supposed to be the coach.
You just do the first set, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch you guys now. You guys do
I'm
the rest of
watching you.
the
You
the
better
three
do it
sets that are
right.
left.
Right? But yeah, but that's just like Japan isn't really known for wrestling, but their small guys are really athletic. But you know, Japan is known for judo, so I figure that's a whole nother level of technical discipline that's kind of hard for, especially for base kids that are only here for a limited amount of time.
Yeah, it's that's I think that's my biggest challenge in trying to grow the program is that they're I know I'm only going to have them for at the most, the average is 2 to 3 years, and that's it. I mean, they're gone. So, um, it's hard. It's hard to keep it going and stuff. So,
Yeah, I can
I got a
imagine.
question for you. Did you have to do a any kind of like teaching certification or coaching certification with the Japanese?
Oh, not to teach on base. Uh,
Okay, but I mean, like for your kids to compete, were they pretty picky about that or anything? The Japanese?
Not really. Not for under like 12. I mean, they're really good about just having really good experience tournaments. And like sometimes the kid will even get pinned and they'll let them keep wrestling or they'll start over. They're just about
Yeah.
experience. There's not like ranking them or anything. But I think judo, there's maybe harder falls. So I don't know if there's more concern in that area. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things they always ask me, all the the head people of the judo program out here in Okinawa, is they're always asking, hey, you need to make sure your kids know how to fall. It's like that's all they stress upon. Because we've had some freak accidents out here that I know of just from the adults competing out here. I remember I saw a guy break his neck. It was pretty bad. And So I mean, they stress a lot just about being able to take the proper fall. So I mean, that's something I really focus on a lot because I know my kids. If they can last for the the whole 2 3 minutes, however long that match is, I'm happy. But I do expect them at one point to either be thrown within the first 5 seconds or 30 seconds to 1 minute. Um,
Good job, Gary. You made
so
it.
yeah,
Whole minute.
they
Yay!
do.
Everybody gets ice cream.
Yeah. But yeah, and they do a good job of telling me they're like, hey, this competition that's coming up in let's say August, they'll say, hey, this is a pretty a competitive tournament, and then they'll say, okay, the next month, bring your kids out. This will be a very good experience for them because it's going to have a lot more kids, and a lot of the other kids are going to be just as inexperienced as your kids. So they'll match them up to make sure that they get a good matchup. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Um. For your um. So I was really curious, like for your podcast, how did you get in touch with Instant Annoya?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I originally heard him on that Joe Rogan podcast,
Okay.
many years ago. I think it was like six,
Yeah.
7 years ago. It was like episode 300 something or whatever. And after that episode, I think he had said like, yeah, you can find me on Facebook or whatever. And I friended him and he accepted. And I just sent him a message. I just said, hey, I listened to the podcast. I thought it was really awesome. I remember seeing you fight in Pride. You're such a legend and an inspiration. And he just replied. He said, "Hey, I appreciate it, Joseph." I was like, "Okay, wow, that was pretty cool."
Mhm.
I didn't expect that. I didn't even expect him to read it. And
Right.
so then, yeah, just fast forward. My previous podcast, we had talked about maybe doing an episode with him, and or having him come out here and do a seminar, and none
Mm.
of those transpired. So when I first started this podcast due to COVID, because I had nothing else better to do with my time, I couldn't teach judo or train in judo or jiu-jitsu. So I just reached out to him. I sent him a text on Instagram, and he just said, "Yeah, let's do it." And my initial response was, "Oh, holy shit! Okay, yeah, I guess this is really happening." So yeah, that's how it happened. It was an honor and privilege to do that podcast with him. He's such a legend in the sport,
Yeah.
a trailblazer for MMA. Yeah, it was a cool experience.
Yeah. I mean, I heard some stories, and he looks like a scary guy, but he sounded like such a cool, easy to talk to dude.
Yeah, it felt like I was speaking to someone, like we've known each other for years or something. He was talking to me like I was just one of his buddies from Hawaii or something. Showing me his koi fish, and I was like, "All right, cool, man. Yeah, it
I
was
was
it was awesome."
he came to Japan to teach racquetball.
Yeah, so he was like, yeah, like like a semi-pro racquetball player, and he was just doing, I think, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as a kind of like a hobby, right? And then, yeah, I wanted to get into fighting after he saw Hickson fight in Pride in Saitama, and got into that. If you look at his like old pictures, like he's got this nice hair, and he's huge. I mean, and he's cut, and it's like, man, he must have been the scariest racquetball player of all
Right.
time.
You're not moving. Not moving.
Imagine like getting mad, smashing his racket on the ground or something. Oh man, yeah,
But
that was a good episode. I enjoyed that.
and it was really cool when you talked to Hashim Rida. Uh, I saw him on a Japanese variety show a while ago. Even though he's a jujitsu guy, like I think it was a New Year's event, and he did sumo against Asashoyu, which is probably like one of the most badass sumo wrestlers ever, I think. And he does not mess around. He
Yeah,
did,
super badass.
yeah, and he did a sumo match with him, and he didn't look that bad actually, given the freaking double body size, and it was a good match. But he poked Asashoryu in the eye, and then he got kind of pissed off, and then he just picked him up and
And
walked.
just throw him out.
Asashoryu
Those
was like,
New Year's
"We're
those
done
New Year's
playing
shows
now."
are pretty funny.
Yeah. Uh, and then I
Yeah, Haisam.
found
Oh,
out he
sorry.
was
Go ahead.
jiu-jitsu too. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. With Haisam, I had a friend who introduced us on Facebook Messenger. And this is before he was, he blew up. He was only a purple belt at the time, and we just kept in communication. And then he's come down here for some tournaments, and we have a mutual friend here that lives here in Okinawa. So, yeah, it was kind of cool to watch him get that notoriety on when Eddie Bravo was talking about him at the
Oh, that's right.
about the
Yeah.
quintet.
The quintet. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
He just showed no respect. Just armbar that fool.
yeah, he was just going. He was slaughtering that team, and then finally got caught with Gio and that guillotine. But yeah, it was kind of cool to watch and see someone in the local jujitsu scene out here in Japan, and get that notoriety. So it
Mm.
was pretty cool. It was a cool experience. Yeah. You're a sumo fanatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into sumo. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Uh, my godfather, my dad's good friend. My godfather lives in Tokyo. His name is David Shapiro,
Okay.
and he's a Japanese sports writer. But his primary stuff that he writes about is sumo, and he does color commentating for NHK. Usually towards the end of the tournament, sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Does he do the Japanese or the English commentary?
English.
Oh, that's always. I just figured out how to turn that on. I was over at the in-laws' house, and I read Japanese okay, but it's not like Jimaku. You have to hit a couple buttons to get there. Like, what kind of foreigner would be able to find the English on this? I've been studying for like 10 years. And I can't find it.
They let you struggle, huh? They didn't even try to do it for you.
Well, they're not always there. That's the problem. My
Oh, okay, okay.
in-laws aren't always there. And then once I got the English, I was like, you know what? This is so much more interesting now. There's so much statistics, and they talk about, oh, what happened last match, what happened. I was like, and my wife was like, what do you think they were talking about? I was like, I thought they were just selling like cucumbers or ads or something. I didn't know they were actually telling us useful information that would help us enjoy the event.
Yeah, he would be a good guest for you, even for me. I've thought about it, but I haven't talked to him. I stayed at his place last year in March when the Major League Baseball was out there for the opening season, the Seattle Mariners and the Athletics. So,
Okay.
but I haven't talked to him really since. I sent him an email probably earlier this year,
Hmm.
and I did see him the day after Christmas, just last year. But I didn't want to hit him up and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Anyways, I'm doing a podcast. You want, you want to be a guest?" And I don't know if he'll do it. So he's kind of low tech. I don't even know if he even has a computer, but
Well, that'd be
I had
amazing.
to find that out.
That'd be amazing. But the thing is, man, Zoom, you just gotta click the freaking link, man. Don't panic. It's they're probably stealing your credit card number, but it's easy to use.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's I think he does have like an Apple computer. I've been down to his basement where his office is, but yeah, I don't know if he'll be down to do it. If he is, I'll definitely let you know.
Oh
He's
God,
very knowledgeable about sumo.
that'd be awesome. That'd be just fantastic, man. So, are there like any other like podcasts that you listen to that you draw in for inspiration besides the JR word, which we won't mention on this podcast?
Um, do I listen to a lot of other ones? Not really. I just got into Chuck Jefferson's podcast about his judo cast, just because he's a real judo fanatic.
Hmm.
I've done judo my whole life, but it wasn't it wasn't by choice. My father learned judo at the Kodokan, and then when he moved back to the United States, he made me do judo.
Oh
He
wow.
made my older brother and my younger sister do judo. So I mean, it's I come from a judo family. I don't follow judo closely. I'll follow it during if the Japanese television has one of the matches on, I'll pay attention to it. But I
Hmm.
couldn't tell you who's the top ranked judoka in certain countries or anything like that. So I kind of like started listening to his podcast. I know he has I think about 10 episodes now, which is really cool. But no, not really. I mean, I'm a big JRE hit fanatic. I'm
I'm just
always listening.
look at you say Joe Rogan. It's okay. I just said he is great. Actually you learn so much about just dealing with people from him, but you can't assume
Yeah.
everything he says is. I mean, he's an entertainer.
Yeah, it's exactly what he is. He's an entertainer, he's like us. He's just another guy. He's just the average guy. I mean, but yeah, he's famous, but he's gonna say the exact same things. I can repeat things that he's gonna say right away, you
Yeah.
know, during the show. But no, I like listening to the ones where he has just like a scientist or a journalist or a writer, or a
Mm.
lawyer or a TV host or somebody. Not so much his
He tries
the
to
ones
talk
with his
once.
buddies. Yeah, I don't listen to the fight companions or anything like that. So I do listen to sometimes the Art of Manliness. I kind of like that podcast. He's got some cool guests on there. Um, but
Just
every now and then I'll listen to a different podcast. But I don't. I'm not too deep into anything else that I listen to on a regular day basis. Usually, I'm before COVID. I'm pretty busy. I got my job, and then after work, either I'm teaching jujitsu, training jujitsu, or I'm teaching judo, training judo, and now a podcast. But with COVID, I mean, I can't do those things. But usually prior to COVID, I mean, Monday through Saturday, I'm just it's go until about 10 o'clock at night, and then wake up, repeat, and do it again. So.
oh. Oh wow! So when the world goes back to normal, we won't have the Shima Gaijin podcast anymore. Is that what you're saying?
We will. It'll probably be, I'm shooting for 1 or 2 episodes a month, or maybe just one. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the future here with all this stuff, but yeah, yeah. Well, no, I'm still going to keep it going. I recently started putting together a podcast room in a spare room, so this is going to be for the long run. Don't
Okay.
worry, Colt. It's going to be all good.
Okay, because if that's the case, I'll just go around and breathe it on people so we could keep having just for the sake. They'll understand.
Why did you start a podcast?
Um, you know, at first I thought it's because I had some cool stuff to say, but the more you talk to people, are like, nah, it's better just to know more people, because I grew up from a hick town and not a lot of interaction. I think general would think, oh, those people are not as smart, but it's like, I think they're not necessarily not as smart. You just don't have the same opportunity to talk to as many people, and I think that's what makes you a more well-rounded person. And I think that's kind of what I've been coming around to. The more people you talk to, and find other people that are doing cool stuff like you and uh, other like I didn't notice a lot of podcasts about judo, so I thought that'd be a nice niche to fill. But then COVID happened. There's like 20 of them, and they're pretty good. But the ones I listened to last year were kind of. I was like, I think I could do better than that. Uh, but now there's some pretty good ones. So I'm like, damn it! Why'd the world have to get sick?
Yeah, and it's funny too. Since COVID, I think like I've been trying to order and like find mics, and you can't find certain mics online anymore because they're all sold out. Even webcams, it's crazy because I think people are just like, well, I'm gonna do a podcast, or I'm gonna start vlogging or something
Right.
like that to to do take up my time since I'm cooped up in the house or doing whatever. But no, I think your podcast is cool, man. I think what's his name? Is it Todd? Is it Todd Atkins? Is that his name?
Todd Atkins, yeah.
Are you guys buddies? Because I think like the two of you contacted me around the same time.
Yeah, no, he actually pointed me in your direction. I know Todd from the Navy. I was in the Navy, and
Okay.
but we've been. I don't think I've talked to him since for like 12 years until he found out he was doing a podcast. And actually, he's been my podcast sensei. He's actually been pushing me. He's like, Colt, you're not putting out content, man. You gotta have constant content, or don't even waste your time. I was like, okay, thanks, Todd.
Yeah, you got to be consistent, right? I think that's the key is be consistent. Don't worry about the glamour of things. Those things will, I think, slowly come. I think with the last podcast I did, there was a lot of I felt like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself.
Okay.
Like, and I think my friend at the time, Maki, was doing the same thing. Is like, oh, we got to put out content. We got to do the social media. We got to get better mics. We got to do this. We got to do that. And just really, it's just you just gotta keep putting stuff out there.
Hmm.
And I think being consistent. So when I first started doing this podcast, I was just saying I'm just gonna start with just once a month, and I'll just start with that. And then I started doing 3 weeks in a row, and then I was like, I gotta take a break. But yeah,
Okay.
it's got its challenges, right? But it's kind of fun because you're just kind of figuring it all out. And I do agree with you that it kind of helps with communication and being a better listener and kind of just growing as an individual. You get to meet different people and have these kind of conversations. And I kind of like the format you have is pretty cool. The Judo No Me, you got the judo guys in the background, and
Oh,
it seems like your niche is all about kind of like grappling and arts and martial arts and stuff. And I think that's really cool that people can follow that.
well, thanks, man. Uh, yeah, I try and use every gimmick I can. I guess I started out. There was this little production show when I was in Iowa City, and they said you can make your own show for free. I was like, no, you can't. And I'd like stand outside and like read the bulletin, and then they're like, "Are you gonna come in or something, dude?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I mean, I just have some ideas and stuff." I'm like, would you want to make a show? I mean, maybe. Can you like tell me how to use this stuff? And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, I don't have that much money." And they're like, "It's okay." So that they got me started on the editing, and I still don't know a lot about camera work. Or you know, I got to use their studio. And then I came to Japan, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to get some nice pictures. I'm gonna go get a studio." Oh, and yeah, and it's 20 mon. Okay, okay, cool. Let me just use the site. And it's like, well, that's another 5,000. Oh, okay. Well, what if?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. It's like I haven't even filmed anything. I've already just about spent $200. It's like, oh, that's. I should have appreciated that more. Being from a hick town, they're just,
Yeah.
hey, somebody come make a show. So that's the good thing about not being from a city, if anything. But that's how I got.
What what brought you to you're in Yokosuka? Is that where you are?
Yes, I'm actually a little bit away from Yokosuka. I used to
Okay.
be in Yokosuka. Um, yeah, I was just right out of high school, young and dumb, and wanted to leave, and somehow I got sent to Japan. Worst things could have happened.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've been out there ever since?
No, I got out of the Navy. I came back, and I was kind of in contact with my then girlfriend, now my wife, and she moved to the States, and then we just actually came back to Japan last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for her work. Her work.
Oh,
She,
oh,
she was,
nice. Has it been a big adjustment?
oh, coming back to Japan? Actually,
Yeah.
kind of bigger than I thought it was. I thought I would. I speak Japan. I don't speak Japanese great, but I can get by. And a lot of people say I speak Japanese. Like, no, you don't. You really don't. I know I don't speak Japanese. I know you don't. You just say konnichiwa and people think that shit's cute.
Yeah. No, my Japanese is horrible.
Oh, really?
But the thing about my Japanese is that because I grew up with my parents speak my both my parents speak Japanese. My dad's a Japanese teacher, but
Oh, really? Wow.
like one thing I know that I'm really good at is imitating people. So like when I speak Japanese, I'm speaking it as if I'm Japanese. Like
Okay.
the sound of how I speak Japanese. And so when people hear me, they think I speak Japanese. And so they start speaking Japanese. And I'm like, slow the fuck down because I don't know what you just said. So, but yeah, I have enough to get around. I understand more than I do than speaking it. So, and if it's a simple conversation, I usually get the gist of what they're talking about. But if it's about politics or anything like that, the legalities of something, then yeah, I'm totally lost.
Right. And it's kind of hard being with a group of, I guess we're foreigners, right? Foreigner friends, and you're always the default translator. And like, no, you talked to that other guy, and that was fine. And then it's like, dude, it's just different. They're talking about, I don't know. I could probably riff it up with just about anybody about judo, but if we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about building a log cabin, I'm fucked.
exactly. I mean, all I need to know is, order a beer and yeah, and order two beers, and that's about it. I'm good.
There used,
And I need a taxi.
yeah, there used to be this dude I knew in the Navy. He was from Texas, and he talked like this, and he used to be like, "Shima San, Shima San, could I get a Budweiser on the Mouse? Shima San." And I couldn't explain to my American friends how hilarious that is because they're like, I don't know what he's saying. Is that another language? It's like, yes, it is, but he's saying it with a hick ass accent.
I had a friend tell me a story. He had a friend who was from the South, and they were talking about the shrimp burger that McDonald's has here in
Okay.
Japan, and it's ebi burger, right? And so they were saying, yeah, that AB burger. Friends like, what's an AB burger?
That's so funny because I know exactly what you mean. And I would probably say that too. But that would a Japanese person or anybody would be like, what the fuck is that? Is he speaking Chinese? Or
Yeah,
Abby. Yeah, AB, AB.
AB. That AB burger is really good.
Nice, nice. Well, right on. What do you have in line for your next show? You have any plans, or you just kind of let it come as it comes?
I just let it come how it comes. I haven't. I mean, I got a list of people, and what I typically do is I just shoot out a message to several folks and just wait for a response. So yeah, I haven't heard back.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the month of September here, but yeah, I hit up a local girl here who's a family friend. She just put out a her first single. It's a uh, it's in the Japanese I think top 25 or something. I don't know,
Wow.
but I was trying to get her out, but I don't know. I haven't heard back from her. I'm pretty sure she's pretty busy. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of play it by ear really. I'd like to do more local guests out here. I feel like I've done a few that are either overseas or in mainland Japan. I haven't had anyone real local here, so I am trying to put something together in my spare room here too, so
Okay.
we can make that kind of happen. Because there's a lot of talent and things out here, artists and people who've just been out here a long time, and friends, and so I'd like to have them come out here and ask them about their Shima Gaijin experience and or their half breed experience living out here being half and things like that. I think other people who are mixed culture or foreigners who are living in Japan would kind of get a kick out of their stories and what they have to say about living as a foreigner in Japan. So
Right. But yeah,
yeah,
being half is it's still another unique experience. Like you're still not, but you you still kind of probably have some expectations of you, maybe.
yeah, for sure. Like
Unique
I feel
experience.
like we're stuck in between like two worlds, and at times we can kind of play the American card, or we can play the the Japanese card. I always do that with my wife. You know, she'll say something or correct me, and I'll say, "Yeah, honey, I know I'm Japanese." And then if I'm totally wrong on something, I say, "Hey, look, I'm American, okay? I don't know these things." So
I'm American.
I didn't know about the AB burger.
I didn't know about no AB burger. Oh, dude. Oh, is it true that all halfies are really attractive?
No, there's some ugly ones out there, man, for sure.
So
So
it's either one way. You're either on one spectrum or the other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't work out, as it should be, I guess.
I guess it depends on what body parts you get. You know, if you get the,
Yeah.
like you don't want the Caucasian Cro-Magnon forehead and the Japanese chin.
I always tell people my dad gave me all like the bad stuff, like I'm super hairy, I I sunburn easily, I don't even look like I'm half or anything like that. My mom gave me all the cool parts, some nice eyes, I guess. I don't know. But definitely didn't my dad's like 6'1", I didn't get that. I'm like 5'10".
Right. I don't know. My friend, he's half Japanese too. Dad Caucasian, mom Japanese, and I mean he's just a normal looking dude. He almost looks Hispanic, but his sister is just a freaking drop dead gorgeous. And
Oh yeah.
probably never gonna listen to this unless I.
Talking about my sister.
Yeah, I met her a couple times. It's like, yeah, she's really sweet. She's like, but people just always say, "Wow, you're so pretty." Is it because you're half? There's like no compliments. Even Japanese people are like, "Ooh, are you on a TV show?" One of those Japanese TV shows where they have somebody famous and pretty and just go, oishi.
We were earlier talking about David Ralston. His daughter, is half, right? And yeah, she's drop dead gorgeous, and she kind of, she really looks kind of Caucasianish, like real like light brown hair, fair skin, and she speaks fluent Japanese, and so she always gets that comment like, "Oh, Nihongo jozu desu ne," like your Japanese is really really good. And she's kind of just rolls her eyes like, yeah, no shit. I've been living out here my whole life, Like,
Oh,
I am Japanese, and even though I'm half, I grew up Japanese. Yeah, she has that struggle. I
oh,
wish I had that struggle,
right. They're just like,
Yeah,
okay, finish your sentence. Are you done
yeah.
yet?
With me, it's like, oh, you're really good at hashi, hashi jozu desu ne. I'm like, yeah,
Right? There's
it's not that hard.
all these small little victories. Wow. Well, would you be interested in ever doing like a collaboration or talking to other people like in a meeting?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, anytime.
Especially if you could talk to your sumo translator. I'd love to just ask him a couple questions if you could get him. I'll reach out to him
Yeah,
too. But if you know him already, it'd be cool to be there with somebody that he already knows. And
sure. Yeah. Let me. I'll definitely have to reach out to him. His wife reached out to me actually a month ago, and I was talking to her. So I need to get back and make contact with him.
oh, she reached out to
So
you.
yeah, because their son actually is playing high school Japanese baseball, and he's been in the paper, I guess, a couple of times now, and especially with what's going on with COVID and stuff. So she was sending me the articles, just kind of keeping me updated and stuff. It was really cool to see because I think he really does have a big chance to make it in the majors. I think the kid's already 6 foot something,
What?
tall kid. Yeah, he's already throwing like he's throwing heat, So yeah, so yeah, she keeps me up to date.
Joe,
Yeah.
get on TV. Nice. Real quick.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I really enjoy like how we've connected and like just in a short period of time of just putting out content and kind of help supporting each other. So I'm always down for it, man.
Right on. Well, let's all get some supper, and I think all let's stay in the loop and let's do a collaboration. Or
Okay.
if I'm
Yeah.
ever welcome, come on maybe your show and see some of your crazy guests.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? Hey, I was gonna ask you, do you ever watch the UFC fights or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, I keep up. I usually listen to like play by play. I don't usually get the pay per view, but
Okay.
I haven't watched it since I've been in Japan.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe if we can watch it live or something, or we can even like I don't know, watch the judo world once that stuff starts getting picked back up. We can kind of watch that kind of stuff and commentate on it or talk about it or whatever you want. Yeah, I'm down, man.
cool. Sounds like a party.
Yeah, buddy, for sure.
Right on.